Okay, so I just tried calling my lawyer. I wanted to leave him a personal voicemail because usually the message says to dial by name, press one, but this one is a different, I think maybe it's just the weekend message. So I'm going to do a video to Vince and send him the link so that he can understand where I'm at. I wanted to update him on how everything, uh, on a couple of new things that are going on. So on 1/6, I got my second DUI, remember, Vince? And then 1/19, I got a third DUI. And then on 2/2, I got a fourth. So I need you to understand how this all like ties into the one with you and why I'm still fighting all of them and why I still should believe that I should. So, oh, and I also have a hospital stay that you need to be aware of too at LDS Hospital. So I want to be able to explain these things to you. Also, my state appointment with the psychiatrist is actually after our 221 hearing. I think it's on the 7th of March. No, not on the 7th. I think it's the 15th actually. So I need to make sure that you I don't know what we should do if we need to postpone, if we're just going to still go, and then I get a continuance again. I'm not sure how that works. So I need to speak with you about that. So you already know about the second DUI. I was parked in the neighbor's two streets down. I was parked opposite in an opposite driveway than mine is facing. That's important. And then the lady called on me. The cops came. I got maced. I was a big deal that night. I stayed the night in jail. They gave me that weird bag of contents. When I was really terrified, and so I told the EMTs, yeah, because that night doesn't make sense. I don't remember going to the hospital, so, but they said I did. But the ambulance came there, so I don't know why. And I got cleared there, so I thought I went straight to the precinct. That's where I lost. I'm confused. And then they gave me that weird bag of contents that didn't make sense. That pop socket and that visa visa application, both out of my jockey box, and then the pipe on the ground, and then my phone's gone and my weed bag's gone. So yeah, and but the first DUI is important too, the one in September, because the cop that was in there found an old weed vape in there in my purse, and it was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. And he's like, I'm just going to turn the other cheek, and and he dropped it back in my purse. And, at that time I'm thinking, great, that's beautiful. And then he didn't even book me in at all. And I completely failed the walk test. I made a fool of myself. So, anyways, but I was really cooperative in that. But I also, because I'm taking it to court, that I think he knew I was going to be on the road before I actually left my house, because I believe that he needed me to get to Justin that night, and that's what it is. So there it is. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so that second DUI, again, I don't want to argue the facts. Facts are facts. Like I told you on the phone, facts need to be facts. And I was in the wrong place. I made them stop and show me where I was so I could understand. And, I pushed really hard, said, let me stop, let me stop, please. I pushed backwards because I wanted to know what was going on. And that's all on, like, you need to listen to those tapes, those recordings of these DUIs, these arrests. The third DUI was it was about midnight. It was after midnight. I'd gone to the Maverick because I needed go to the bathroom because I live in a trailer on the side of a house that doesn't have um, water or a toilet. So, and when I have to do things that I don't want to do in here, I pee in a cup, but when I gotta go, I gotta go. So I went because I knew I was going to have to sometime that night. And I got, I was also trying to figure this whole thing out. And I got two seltzers and I drank them in the parking lot. Um, I think my blood alcohol level was it was around one. But I do believe it was 1.1 something, right? Um, and so it was just barely over though. But I was fine, but again, it's not okay. It's not okay. It's against law for sure. Um, but I don't know how to do all this, believing what I do. And so it was like, I was sitting there trying to explain to my best friend, trying to get somebody to understand, and I'm arguing with my ex-husband, and I thought he was on board, and he's threatening me. So I'm sitting, I'm just, and I know my bowels will move if I drink a little alcohol. I didn't want caffeine. It moved like that too, but they'd move like that. But I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but it's important. I wasn't, anyways. And then I was sat there for a little bit. I, did my processes of aligning, and then I went to leave. My lights were off, and I was texting Kyle, a guy I'm dating, and I messaged him at about like 3 minutes before I got pulled over. So I was in the parking lot at a Maverick, and sitting there with my lights off, not quite to the exit, but close enough. And so Officer Pagano saw me and waited to see what I was doing. So I messaged Kyle. Can't remember what I messaged him, but it was fine. Like I really was fine, but again, not okay. But I wasn't drunk, was not drunk, and I turn out, and within a minute, he pulled me over, put his lights on. I pulled into a street, and I was maybe just a few minutes from my house, maybe two, and so, anyways, I believe so. Sorry. um, he pulled me, he came up to my window and he's like, hey, Ms. Mack, have you been drinking? I'm like, I don't, and I didn't want to answer. And I'm like, why'd you pull me over? He's like, well, you had your lights off and I suspected you could be drinking. Have you been drinking? And I'm like, give me a minute. You guys are scaring me. I'm fine. Why? I was messaging somebody. And then I turned my lights on and then I went out onto the main road. I was still in the parking lot at Maverick. That doesn't make sense. I wasn't on the main road. Nobody was out. It was 1:30 in the morning. And I didn't turn my lights on because I wasn't driving yet. Come on. I wasn't even out. Can he do that? My lights weren't on yet. Can he pull me over for that? I wasn't on the main road. I was in private property, wasn't I? Wasn't I on private property? Yeah, I mean, I need to write that down, maybe. Okay. Okay, so that's number 3. It took me a minute to get out of the car because I don't trust them, and that's what I said. I'm not quite sure with because he said, I read all about your last arrest and we don't want it to go like that. And we don't want this one to go like that. And I'm like, no, we don't. So you know what happened, huh? You know why I don't trust you then, and why I'm scared, I'm gonna pause. He unlocked my door and opened it and said, why don't you just come out and let's make this a better time between you and I. Let's just get you home. And I was like, oh my gosh, no. And I closed my door. I'm like, I'm not ready yet. At least that's what I remember. I'm not, you're going to have to give me a minute because I don't really understand what's going on here. Yet I do. And I just don't know what to do or what to say. So give me a minute, please. And I want you to listen to this recording too. So I remember what I said. That's important. And you know, if you'd already looked me up, then you would have known about the psychotic break. You would have known about the ambulance, Logano. You would have known all that stuff. So, and yeah, I mean, and that I went crazy probably in the the back of the cop car with the guy. Like I was so scared. Oh, and so I was just so scared. And I'm like, is this recording? I need this to be recorded. Right? You're recording everything. Okay, I need to say this out loud and for the record. I believe the cops aren't messing with me. They're messing with me. The app, the $1,000, the Ghost app, I just started listing the COVID card, the Geico being paid off, the backwardsing in the bar with Tawny, the Walmart, backwardsing in the Walmart, Ulta, Target, Home Goods on the freeway. Not all the time, but they're there. And it makes sense because of all the videos that they saw of me. And they know how I'm different. I get that. So, I actually think you're helping me. I mean, I can prove that. Anyways, so, whew, I eventually got out of the car with the cop, and I went, and they were all like, there was four of them again, and he just wanted me to lift my knee or lift my leg, and I was a little wobbly. I was also very scared. I'm scared too, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do it, so you might as well arrest me. So he arrested me right there, and I was quiet on this ride. Um, we talked about a couple things, but I was like, okay, whatever, whatever. And the ride I think was a pretty good ride. I can't remember our conversations, but when I got in there, when they finally took me to the jail, I had to go through something different than I went through last time. They did fingerprints. It was the same lady, I believe, did fingerprint scans on both hands. It was just a different experience altogether. And then they brought my bag of contents with my things. This time they had my purse. Last time it wasn't there. And but they had things listed on this, and I wish I would have kept it, but they had listed things that I didn't have, like a black hoodie, which wasn't with me, with them, and then like this green something. I can't remember everything. I'm like, can I have a pen? Because I don't see this. This doesn't make any sense. Where is this black hoodie? And this green something. So anyways, and so the lady got mad and like, you can't cross things out, and took it and ripped it up. And said, I'll just print you another one. She got really mad at me. And anyways, I printed one with just the stuff, which if it comes, I don't think they can do that because it comes from, and see, this is to note too. It comes from, let me pause it. Okay, so anyways, I ended up staying the night. I ended up getting out at about 1:30. No, about 9 in the morning, actually, because I needed to get to my client. I got out about 9, and I didn't show up to work. No, that's not the time I didn't show up to work. So I called it. I was able to reschedule a client. Anyways, that's just important. and then I got out around, I got out around 9:30, I believe. There was no bail posted. The judge just said, show up in court. So that was kind of a little miracle, hence keeping me believe what I believe. So that I believe they need to make me feel safer with them because this is a real thing. And the emergency, it needed to get that bad where I was terrified yet fighting for them to get as close as they are. And that's so stupid, but that's part of the story. So I need you to understand events. So it is what it is. I hate it, but it is. So that is the third DUI. I just went to court on it for the DMV. The DMV court, the officer didn't show up. And so I'm gonna pause for a sec.